Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram. Hare Krishna. So we are reading today Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 15th chapter, text number 50, chapter entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Draupadi cha tadāgyāya
Draupadi cha tadāgyāya
patinām anapekshatāṃ
patinam anapekshatāṃ
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Hekantamatirapatam.
Ekantamatirapatam.
Draupadi cha tadāgyāya
Draupadi cha tadāgyāya
patinām anapekshatāṃ
patinam anapekshatāṃ
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Ekantamatirapatam.
Ekantamatirapatam.
Okay, one more, Vaishnavi. Draupadi cha tadāgyāya
Draupadi cha tadāgyāya
patinām anapekshatāṃ
patinām anapekshatāṃ
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Ekantamatirapatam.
Ekantamatirapatam.
Okay. Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, cha, and tada, at that time, Agyaya, knowing Lord Krishna fully well, patinam, of the husbands, anapekshatam, who did not care for her, Vasudeve, unto Lord Vasudev, Krishna, Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead, he, exactly, ekanta, absolutely, mati, concentration, apa, got, tam, him, the Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Draupadi also saw that her husbands, without caring for her, were leaving home. She knew well about Lord Vasudev, Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Both she and Subhadra became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and attained the same results as their husbands. Please be very attentive with the purport. When flying an airplane, one cannot take care of other planes. Everyone has to take care of his own plane. And if there is any danger, no other plane can help another in that condition. Similarly, at the end of life, when one has to go back home, back to Godhead, everyone has to take care of himself without help rendered by another. This help, the help, is however offered on the ground before flying in space. Similarly, the spiritual master, the father, the mother, the relatives, the husband, and others can all render help during one's lifetime. But while crossing the sea, one has to take care of himself and utilize the instructions formally received. Draupadi had 5 husbands, and no one asked Draupadi to come. Draupadi had to take care of herself without waiting for her great husbands. And because she was already trained, she at once took to the concentration upon the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. The wives also got the same result as their husbands in the same manner. That is to say, without changing their bodies, they reached the destination of Godhead. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that both Draupadi and Subhadra, although her name is not mentioned herein, got the same result. None of them had to quit the body. Hare Krishna. So this is a very, very famous purport by Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada herein is mentioning that how the Pandavas, when Krishna left, the Pandavas, they just left. Yudhishthir Maharaj didn't wait for Arjuna and Bhima. Bhima didn't wait for Nakula and Sahadev. As soon as they heard the news that Krishna has left the planet, they all left. And Draupadi is behind. And even Draupadi was not, they didn't even ask Draupadi that whether we should leave or not leave, what you will do. And Draupadi also, because she was trained, she also didn't ask anyone, and she also prepared for her journey. But the most interesting thing in this purport is how Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that how none of us can actually help us. All the help that we are all receiving is provided only in the platform where we are getting trained. But at the time of death, not even Srila Prabhupada, if I read again, similarly, the spiritual master, the father, the mother, the relatives, the husband, and others can all render help during one's lifetime. But while crossing the sea, one has to take care of himself and utilize the instructions formally received. About 1 or 2 years before, I was talking with one Maharaj in phone. Some requirements, I had called him. So he's very famous, he's Diksha Guru also. So we were discussing many things. I was discussing something for which the call was there. And then later on, I was just telling about how I was just telling that Maharaj, we see sometimes in ISKCON devotees become very serious in the beginning, and in the beginning they are very seriously chanting. They take guidance of how to improve their Krishna consciousness. But somehow, after some years, people become very lethargic for increasing their Krishna consciousness, their sincerity and their seriousness. They get affected by different things, and they don't. I was telling him that Maharaj, when initially people come, they ask guidance for everything, and after some years they don't ask guidance for anything. And because you are Guru, you can tell us what happens. So Maharaj was telling a very interesting thing that which I really liked. Maharaj said ki there is the reason for this is that many devotees have a misconception. So I was asking, what is the misconception? So Maharaj was telling that the main misconception is that the spiritual master is going to deliver us. So I said, Maharaj, we have been hearing that only, that the spiritual master is going to deliver us. So Maharaj said that the spiritual master doesn't deliver us. It is Krishna who delivers us. Spiritual master is who provides us help how to get delivered by Krishna. So only Krishna is Mukunda, we need to understand. And here in Srila Prabhupada is so openly mentioning that even the spiritual master also cannot provide any help. So sometimes Maharaj was telling that our devotees, they get initiated and once they get initiated, they think that they have achieved some great thing. And once they are initiated, they think now actually my spiritual master is going to deliver us. Or Srila Prabhupada is going to deliver us. And what I have to do? I have to do nothing. I have to just sit down and Srila Prabhupada is going to take me. And we tell so casually that Srila Prabhupada is going to take me. My Guru Maharaj or my Gurudev is going to deliver me. But no one can deliver us until unless we sincerely want to get delivered. Herein, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that no one, just like Srila Prabhupada is giving an analogy here, that when flying an airplane, no other airplane can take care. So when we have wars, so you are flying your own airplane. So when you are sitting in your airplane, and imagine you have not filled the fuel in your airplane. So can you take fuel? Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu, is it possible to get some fuel, recharge, UPI, just like Vidnar Prabhu was giving example. Oh, you find that recharge is not there, and can you get a QR code to do a recharge when you are flying? Yes, anyone has some techniques where you are flying a plane and you find that the fuel is not there and you can get some top up UPI recharge and get it immediately recharged? No. Whatever recharge, whatever fuel we have supposed to put, we can put it when we are in ground. Once we have started flying, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, we have no other help. Exactly in the same way, right now all of you are getting an opportunity by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of Guru Parampara. It is an opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness, to get inspired, to take instructions and go back to Godhead. But if we don't become serious with the opportunity that is given to us, then just like any other life, so many lives have passed in the material world, this life will also pass on. Just like any other lives, we have got married. Just like any other lives, we have children. Just like any other lives, we had wife and husbands and everything. This life will also have all other things. Just like any other life, we got some properties, right? You don't even know, which property you had in your previous life. You may be a very, very big person, and this life you may be staying in just a 1 BHK flat near the bungalow of your last life. And you may be coming out of the 1 BHK flat and thinking, oh, my 1 BHK flat, such a great achievement I have done with that 1 BHK flat. And Krishna is thinking, oh, you were staying in the bungalow other side. And you foolish living entity, just because of your karma, you have come to this 1 BHK flat. So we must understand that if we do not become serious in Krishna consciousness, no Guru can deliver us. And more we hear it again and again, that Guru is not going to deliver us until unless we are serious. We see in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, we undergo a lot of external transformation. And we see many devotees, they would take such guidance in the beginning. Oh, Prabhu, this is not going, how to do this, how to do that. But slowly, as people get initiated, people become more serious, and people know the philosophy very well and start understanding what is Krishna consciousness. Then the inquiry that is there, that how I can advance in Krishna consciousness further, goes away. We see that Vedanta Sutra says, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. The Brahma Jigyasa, the curiosity to know about Brahman, to know about Krishna, is actually that which fuels our progress in Krishna consciousness. Now I'm going to ask all of you, we see this general tendency, I also have experienced this, that in the beginning people are very seriously asking questions about how I can improve, what I should do. They call also, find out also. But slowly as they progress and they come to know the philosophy and everything, slowly their inquiry also, they don't, now as if they have become pure devotees. They don't inquire now about how to improve their Krishna consciousness. So why this happens? So I will like to ask each one of you, yes, give them permission to speak. Yes, why it happens? Anyone has some things to enlighten on this subject? Oh, okay. This is written Shyama Priya and Bihari Govind, but Shyama Priya is not visible. Bihari Govind. Yes.
Because after a few years, we think that we know everything. I know all the philosophy, so I don't need any help. So that is one point.
Okay, so Bihari Govind is telling that we know the philosophy, and philosophy can help us. And because we know the philosophy, that's why we think we don't require. Yes, okay, Sarja Mataji, what? Please enlighten us. Yes.
I'm going to add on Bihari Govind's point. Like, we know the philosophy, and also we have taken many times, we have asked the questions, the same questions, we can't change it. We are not able to take on the Guru's word properly, and we have got so many times the answer, but still we are not able to follow. So we think embarrassed to be again and again to ask the same question because we are not following it properly.
Okay, so we feel embarrassed to ask because we have already asked and so many times, and then what to ask again. Yes, okay, Sunita Wali Mataji.
Hare Krishna?
Yes.
So, Prabhuji, sometimes we feel this is best we are doing in our capacity. There is very little scope of improvement further. So,
So we are already doing our best, so it becomes
already doing so much. We are stretching ourselves. So that is all.
So already we are doing so much and stretching, and we don't have to. How much more I stretch? Yes, very good point. Yes, Ankit Prabhu. Oh, so many hands. Very good. That's good.
Bro, when we initially get introduced to Krishna consciousness, at that time, we are there maybe there are problems in material life, and we can see that we are afflicted by anarthas like lust, anger, greed, pride, and But after some time, when we chant sincerely, so then the little bit is anarthas, they they are not that much. They get controlled, and we also kind of get convinced. So now I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and now I'm become pure, and I'm not like a materialist who is doing sin. I'm not doing sin anymore. I am in Krishna's place. So there is this false sense of superiority or false sense of like now I am pure. That thing comes up, and we don't remain as sincere as we should be.
Okay, so we get a false sense of purity and superiority over others. Very good, nice point. Yes, Kriti Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Probably we start feeling like that we are very senior now, and that's we should not be asking, rather we should be answering to new people.
So we have become senior, so we should not be asking now. We should be only speaking to others. Okay, that's good. Good point. Yes, anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, after, like you said, after some time, it's more of a process of internal transformation. So we don't able to comprehend or understand what kind of transformation I need to do to further progress. Right? Maybe we are not, so we have some understanding, maybe we have read some shastras and all, but going through different stages of transformation, what I'm reading and what I'm feeling, those two things sometimes we are not able to comprehend properly, and that's why we are not able to communicate with our superiors. And maybe that could be one reason that we are not opening it. So how to comprehend that we are going through that changes and discuss that.
Okay, very good, nice point. Yes, next.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Nanda Prabhuji, my point of also in the same light, because we feel stagnant at the present positions and we do not know what is the role I am.
We feel stagnant. Okay. Yes, who else? Ananda Pradayini. As if you are speaking from Golok. Yes, speak from Bhulok.
We get so familiar with the process that we start taking Krishna consciousness cheaply and for granted.
Okay, so we become familiar and we take things very cheaply. Okay, yes, last. I think Bikram Prabhu has a raise of hand. Yes, you would like to speak?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
yes, please.
So Prabhu, जैसे आपने starting में भी बताया, then the new things started because we come from the material things and in the beginning, just like you given an example for a marriage also, right? So whenever there's anything new started, you get excited, right? But as the time goes, right, because time plays very important factor in our life. So slowly, I think things we believe because of the false ego and the mind which we have. I think we start doing things and these are the small things. Why should we again ask to the spiritual master and similar kind of a thing? So that's the hesitations which I think restrict us, I think, to going further. That's my limited understanding.
Okay, that's good. Okay, very good. All of your limited understanding has increased our understanding very nicely. But you need to understand one thing, that our mind works in a very, very peculiar way. By understanding our mind, actually, spiritual life is all about mental control. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in one place, Srila Prabhupada quotes in the 5th canto, that there is no question of spiritual life without mind control. In the beginning, when we of our Krishna consciousness, most of us are focused on handling. Oh, the voice is low. I don't know. Hare Krishna, the voice is low. I don't think so. We have not changed any setting. So in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, most of us are so much struggling to follow the four regulative principles, and we do a lot of external changes to our system. So when we do a lot of external changes in our system, so we feel, okay, there are some changes happening. And the external changes, it is very easy to ask and the external changes. But what happens as we grow ahead in Krishna consciousness? Now, externally, we have become a full-fledged devotee now. If you see a Vishnu Duta or you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how they will look, they will also have the same tilak. It's not that followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, associates, had a different tilak. The same tilak, same kanthimala, same type of dhoti kurta. So externally, we become a devotee. We become an associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But internally, we are still not. And I will tell you, to disclose our internal struggles takes a hell lot of ego. That's the major problem. So, most of us stop taking guidance after initiation. The reason is, definitely we understand that, okay, now things will happen on its own. I will just read Srimad Bhagavatam. I will just chant Hare Krishna. On its own, it will happen automatically. Now, because now Guru Maharaj and Guru Dev will take care of me. Srila Prabhupada will take care of me. Yes, they will take care of us, definitely. But we need to understand that till initiation, at least in our ISKCON scenario, we are too much focused on changing the external setup of the living entity, of the person or the member. What is the external setup? He was breaking the four regulative principles, and then we ask him, okay, you have to follow the four regulative principles. So he becomes externally, starts following the four regulative principles. He has to put tilaks. He has to understand the philosophy very nicely. What is the philosophy? Who are we? Who is Krishna? Who is Radharani? What is the goal of life? Whether God is personal or impersonal. So all this, and who is the Guru Parampara? What is the role of Guru? And all these different things we do. But most of it is external understanding. Even the philosophy also we understand on a very external level. We also change ourselves on a very external level, trying to change our external environment, right? So changing an external environment is very easy, and the reason is changing external environment brings a lot of pacification to the mind. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, we all have experienced how much our mind was in so much of anxiety, samsara, dava, nalalidha loka. And as soon as we start following the four regulative principles, as soon as we follow the Vaishnava lifestyle and getting up early, chanting Hare Krishna, so our mind immediately becomes pacified. The problem is, we think that pacification of the mind is equivalent to purification of the mind. So, if I write, so pacification of the mind, which we experience in the beginning days of Krishna consciousness, this pacification is quite external. And that is being achieved because of coming to a mode of goodness type of lifestyle. Previously, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were living a more of a mode of ignorance, mode of passion lifestyle. But as we come to Krishna consciousness, immediately our food changes. Yes? And as soon as your food changes, half of your passion goes away. How many of you have understood that as soon as you start taking sattvic food, and half of your passion will go away. Similarly, your dress code changes. You stop wearing the passionate dress and outfits and all, and you start wearing better outfits which are more in mode of goodness, dhoti, kurta, sari, this, that, and so all these changes that we undergo in the beginning of our Krishna consciousness are more very, very external, and these external changes are also important, but they are meant to take us to mode of goodness, right? And it pacifies the mind, and we feel very, very happy, and we think that pacification of the mind becomes the goal of our practice of Krishna consciousness. But as we sang in this song, can anyone remember what is the goal? From the song we sang? Okay, Veer Narasimha Prabhu has to tell.
Krishna Name Anurag.
Okay.
Nachre Amar Man.
Okay, Nachre Amar Man. Okay, the mind has to dance. Very nice point. But there is one more sentence that was there. Krishna rati bina jivan to miche hai. Right? If we have not got rati to Krishna, jivan to miche hai. So the purification of the mind we will be able to judge and assess by how much we have got rati for Krishna. Right now our rati is too much for the external things of this world, properties of the world. We try to derive shelter and security from the external things of the world. That shows that my mind is not pure. It has only got pacified by the practice of Krishna consciousness. And I am thinking that this pacification of mind is equivalent to purification of the mind. Because the pure mind naturally is attached to Krishna. You don't have to do anything to get attached to Krishna, because attachment to Krishna is naturally there. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Sravanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Uday. Chaitanya Charitamrita Kaviraj Goswami writes that we do not have to become devotee of Krishna. We are already devotee of Krishna. We do not have to become lovers of Krishna. We are already lovers of Krishna. The only thing we have to do is that purify the mind. And when the mind gets purified, automatically the attachment to Krishna, which is already there in dormant stage, develops. So we start thinking that the pacification of the mind, we are very happy. What's going on in our life? Our life is going nice. And only thing we require the help of the spiritual master when some problem happens in the life. How many of you think like that? Kuch gadbad hua, then we should now go. So that means our relationship with the spirituality, spiritual master becomes also very external. When everything external is going on nicely, oh, is everything going nicely? How everything is going? Everything, Prabhuji, is nice. And when you require, oh, Prabhuji, can you pray? What happened? No, Prabhuji, my health is bad. Please pray. My this has happened. My husband is sick. My wife is sick. My this is sick. So our practice of Krishna consciousness becomes very external. The help that we are taking from Krishna, the help we are taking from the process of spirituality is very, very external. Very external. The help we are taking from spiritual master is also very, very external, right? And because we are taking a very external help, we will only remain an external devotee. And this is technically called as Bahirmukha Sisya. Bahirmukha Sisya. Bahirmukha Sisya means a Sishya who thinks pacification of the mind or how the external, doing some external changes in my, or learning some philosophy, understanding some philosophy is equivalent to progress in Krishna consciousness. But then there is Antarmukhi Bhakta or Antarmukhi Sadhaka. The Antarmukhi Sadhaka is, he looks internal and he understands that till now I am not purified, I am not purified. And that's how it is important number one, it is important to see ourselves as a third person. From a third person, we see ourselves, how much actually I have advanced. And sometimes we may get mistaken. And that's how we should always ask the most important question. So this question is very, very important of how I can improve in my Krishna consciousness. And sometimes it may not be possible for us to see ourselves as a third person and analyze ourselves, that how much my heart has become purified of lust, envy. And that's why we require the help of external spiritual master. Understand the spiritual guide, spiritual master and Krishna, they are there in our heart. And any living entity who sincerely prays to Krishna, oh Krishna, please purify my heart, please show me the way, how I can come to you, how I can reach to you. Immediately Krishna helps that living entity. Yesterday I was reading and announcing the introduction, and I was introducing Her Grace Survi Mataji, who was giving class. Somehow she came, so I was supposed to give class, and then she gave class. And we see how I was very inspired that from childhood she had a lot of questions about who is God, and people outside world in Australia who would say who is God, and people would just, the teachers, her own teachers would just drive her away and say, oh, these are all absurd questions. Either they will say there is no God, or some God is some energy, some positive energy, and they don't have a form. And when Mataji reached, because she was constantly praying to Krishna, and Krishna guided her. So similarly, actually, we need to understand that Krishna consciousness will become stagnant because we are misunderstanding it as a pacification of the mind, or we are thinking that by practice of Krishna consciousness, my external things will all become all right, and my situations will be all right. I will not commit sin, and because I'll not commit sin, that's why I will also not suffer. So this is a very pious, materialistic vision towards Krishna consciousness. The spiritual vision for Krishna consciousness and the practice of spiritual Krishna consciousness is, the spiritual vision is that we are practicing for going back to Godhead. And going back to Godhead is not possible without developing Rati for Krishna. And this is something which all of us can ask ourselves. how much I have developed attachment for Krishna and how much I have given up my attachment for this world. How much my mind still gets agitated seeing the objects of the world. Yes? Is anyone here can say, Prabhu, right now my mind is not at all agitated with any of the object of the world? Yes? Can anyone say? Yes? Raise of hand. So that means this is the question we should ask. This is the question we should ask. Devahuti, if you read the 3rd canto, is asking her son. Can you imagine asking son? And what Devahuti is asking? Devahuti is telling that, oh my son, I have enjoyed with my husband, your father, so many places, so many years, but my mind and heart is not satisfied. Can you imagine what guts it takes to tell your son like this? And still I am not satisfied. I know you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has come as my son. Please tell me how I can really conquer my inner self. How I can become attached and I get rid of all this attachment to this world. And a very wonderful thing Devahuti says to Kapiladev is that you are the source of bondage, because without Krishna's help, the living entity cannot even get binded to the material world. And you are the source of liberation. So when we face internal struggles, our ego is at question. And because our ego is at a question, because externally we have become a devotee and we think, okay, these external symbols of taking the external symbols of a devotee makes me a devotee. And because we have that misconception, taking up some external symbols as devotee, getting a new name, getting His grace or her grace attached to us, or maybe His holiness attached to us, or change of a name, change of a lifestyle, change of some external features, these are not parameters of advancement in Krishna consciousness. These are all very external parameters. And when we take these external parameters very seriously, we stop working on our internal self. And when we stop working on our internal self, our ego thinks, oh, I have become a devotee. Or, if I am not a devotee internally, I'll just go on. Srila Prabhupada will take care. Everything will happen. Everything will happen. 1 year passes, nothing happens. 2 years passes, nothing happens. 3 years passes, nothing happens. 20 years passes, nothing happens. Some devotees, after 15 years of practice of Krishna consciousness, they have come back and they have said to me that, Prabhuji, the same anarthas which were troubling me previously, now again they are troubling me. Now I am thinking whether I am advanced or not. What I did 15 years. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in this regard gives a very, very interesting, some of you went for marriage. So I will tell you something about marriage. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives a very interesting story about marriage. Marriage, Bharati. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says one time one Bharati was supposed to go from one village to other. But the bride's village was on the other side of a river, very wide river. So they thought that crossing the river will take a lot of time. So we'll cross the river in the night. We will sleep on the boat only. And then by the morning we will reach. So that time there was no electricity on the boat and it was not a cruise liner. It was a man-rowed boat, where one boatman was there. And the boatman said, you all sleep, I will row you, and in the morning you get up, you will find in the bride's place. So they all slept. And then the dawn came, And then the birds started chirping. And when they got up, they saw they're still there. They're still in the same place. And all started shouting the boatman, and boatman was sweating. Throughout the night, he was oaring. And all people were wondering, if the boatman is sweating, he was rowing all throughout the night, why we are still stuck? Can anyone say why we were still stuck?
Yes, Prabhuji, because that hook was not removed.
The hook was not removed. The hook is not removed. And I am telling you, please hear this. Without the help, external help of superiors, we cannot remove the hooks of our mind, of our internal self. You may struggle throughout your life, struggle very, very hard throughout your life, but you may not be able to really help yourself until unless we really take to our case very seriously. We really take to our heart very seriously. We really understand that yes, this life, I need to go back to Godhead. I need to purify my mind. This strong desire should come. Let me not now think about my respect, my ego. Who thinks what I am? I am what I am. I need to advance. Oh Krishna, I want to go to you. So much of lust, so much of greed, so much of pride, so much of illusion. So this strong determination is very important. And that honesty, that yes, I'm not pure and that's why I'm not attached to Krishna is very, very important. But if you are not honest, if you still think, okay, these external things, I have become a big devotee, how I can think, these things will go away, my spiritual master will take it away and all these things. It's not going to work. We have to become serious and sincere. And that's how we find, because the nature of our struggles as we go ahead in Krishna consciousness becomes very internal, and because no one wants to reveal their internal struggles, and because we are very egoistic, we want to show the good side, the very nice side, this is what I am, to Krishna and to Guru. No, Krishna, no, everything will okay. Everything will be okay. Everything will not be okay on its own. We have to struggle. We have to. The amount of material illusion we have carried over so many years, we have to at least really become seriously endeavoring towards getting rid of this material world. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as we go ahead, because the context is there, I will tell and just end. We see Narad Muni getting association. Narad Muni was a boy and he got association of 4 pure devotees, Bhakti Vedantas. And he was actually initiated by them. And they gave a lot of procedures to Narad Muni. And then Narad Muni, his mother passed away. And he was a small boy, his mother passed away, so he left. And based on what the Bhakti Vedantas had taught, he was trying to apply it alone. And he was trying to struggle himself to focus on Krishna. And then Krishna came once. And Krishna said to Narada, "Oh my boy, your heart is not pure. I am not going to reveal myself to you. You have to wait for the entire life and practice Krishna consciousness seriously. Then you can see me at the end of life." This is what Krishna said to Narada boy. And we think, Narad Muni didn't say, the Bhakti Vedantas will take me back to Godhead. Just like we say, Srila Prabhupada, amaki niye jaben. Amar Gurudev, my Gurudev will take me. Srila Prabhupada will take me. Narad Muni didn't say. You will not find any verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where Narad Muni is telling, Narada boy is telling, oh, I met the pure devotees, the Bhakti Vedantas, I got initiated by them, then I will go automatically. Narad Muni didn't go automatically. Narad Muni explains to Vyasdev, I followed seriously the instructions given by the Bhakti Vedanta. Even after following the instructions given by Bhakti Vedanta, Krishna said that Narada, you have to wait. Your heart is not pure. We need to understand Krishna is not so cheap. Krishna is not so cheap. Vrindavan is not so cheap. Golok is not so cheap. Going back to Godhead is not so cheap. But because we are reading again and again, going back to Godhead, going back to Godhead, going back to Godhead, and we are becoming so familiar, we are reading Back to Godhead magazine, we think, oh, it's a very simple job. Just, I will join ISKCON and then I will go back to Godhead. I have boarded the boat back to Godhead. That's good for encouragement that yes, we have boarded the boat. But if we really want to go back to Godhead, we really need to struggle to follow the principles given by the spiritual master, given by Srila Prabhupada. And we have to do it. We have to fly our own plane. None of us, not even our spiritual master, can deliver us. Only when we really become serious, spiritual master can help us. Only when we want to become serious. Only when we want to really advance. So much of instructions we have got and we don't follow. And we don't follow. The spiritual master also doesn't speak anything. Krishna also doesn't speak anything. Krishna is also happy. Okay, because the living entity is also happy. All of us are happy. But if we sincerely desire from our heart and pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, I want to go back. Please tell me. Please guide me. Please guide through my spiritual master what I need to do. And then Krishna will guide. Through situations, through spiritual master, through different devotees, Krishna will really guide us how to become serious. So the purpose of today's session was to help all of you understand that don't put the responsibility on an illusory level on the spiritual master. Don't put the responsibility on an illusory way to ISKCON. Don't put the responsibility on an illusory way to Srila Prabhupada. They are not going to deliver you. You are going to deliver yourself by taking help of their instructions, by taking help of the facility of ISKCON, by taking help of guidance of the spiritual master, the Siksha Gurus, the Diksha Gurus. And if you don't take guidance, if you don't follow them, you are not going to get delivered. You are not going to find yourself in Shri Vrindavan Dham. That's for sure. You may spend millions of lifetimes in ISKCON, you are going to still stay here only in the material world. ISKCON does not have any monopoly just because someone has joined and become a member of this organization. We do not have any monopoly to take anyone back to Godhead until unless the person himself follows the principles of going back to Godhead. We have to, before going back to Godhead, become like a resident of Godhead. We have to become a resident before we reach Golok. It's not that we reach Golok and we start thinking, how do I become a Golok Basi? No, that's not allowed. We become a Golok Basi right now here. And all of us know internally what are problems that are restricting me from becoming a Golok Basi. What are my anarthas? Everyone knows. Everyone knows. What are my attachments? Everyone knows. What are my inertia to reveal and take help? Everyone knows. Everyone knows this. So let's not just make a farce that we have become devotees, we have become initiated, We have some His grace is attached. This His grace has no value. Narada, boy, was already initiated by the Bhakti Vedantas. He was already His grace. But Krishna, so openly. Sometimes we think Krishna, hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. But if you read the pages of Bhagavatam, Krishna is not telling Narada, oh Narada, no, yeah, I'll give you darshan. No, Krishna is directly telling, you cannot see me, Narada. You can only hear my voice only once. Later on, you will not be also able to hear your voice. You have to struggle to purify yourself, to purify your mind. Let's not take the process very cheaply. Let's not try to think that I can do anything and I can go back to Godhead. We are not going to go back to Godhead. And let's follow the instructions and let's take help. We have been given an opportunity. Srila Prabhupada is telling that the help is, however, offered on the ground before flying in space. Similarly, the spiritual master, the father, the mother, the relatives, the husband, and others can all render help during one's lifetime. But while crossing the sea, one has to take care of himself and utilize the instructions formally received. So we must understand, when the help is coming, when opportunity knocks us, let's take help. Let's take advantage. Let's not lose it. And let's give up our ego, thinking that we are great, we are this and we are that. We are not. We are not. We are not. Just putting tilak doesn't make us a devotee. Let's be honest. That honesty will help us to take help. Honestly. That doesn't make us a devotee. Just following 4 regulative principles makes us a human being. It doesn't make us a devotee. It doesn't make us a devotee. It makes us a human being. So let's be honest. And when we are honest, then we will never stop taking guidance, never stop really never start becoming lethargic and complacent. Delhi is very far. Vrindavan is more far. Vrindavan is far. So let's purify our mind. Whatever we are experiencing now is not even purview of Krishna consciousness. It's just a pacification of mind because of following some mode of goodness lifestyle. And that pacification should never be misunderstood as purification of heart. Purification of heart will be visible, and there are 9 symptoms which we can ourselves assess how much pure I am becoming, as mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe sometimes later we can take a class on it, the 9 symptoms to assess our spiritual advancement. And we can maybe have an assignment over it, the 9 symptoms to assess our internal spiritual advancement. Right? Sometimes there are 8 external symptoms of spiritual advancement, like crying, like voice getting choked up, and these are all. But Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions that the 8 Ashtasattvic Vikar, or the 8 external symptoms, are not that important. But the 9 internal symptoms are very important for a sadhaka to understand how much he has advanced in Krishna consciousness and how much more he has to advance in Krishna consciousness. And if our inquiries to spiritual master should be based on these 9 anubhavas. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhus speaks about bhava, vibhava, sanchari bhava, vyabhichari bhava, and all this. I don't want to confuse you of all these bhavas, but Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Rupa Goswami says that these anubhavas are very, very important. These 9 anubhavas mentioned by Kaviraj Goswami and also by Rupa Goswami is very important, and our inquiries to the spiritual master should not stop. Rather, it should transform from an external level to these internal 9 anubhavas. These 9 anubhavas, and we should try to help the spiritual master understand how we can progress in these 9 anubhavas. Starting from Abhyartha Kalatvam, Shanti, Virakti, Manasunyata, and Priti Tad Vasati Stale. So all these anubhavas are mentioned by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu to help us understand that how much internal struggle I have to still make to reach Sri Vrindavan Dham. And these anubhavas have to be practiced, right? Or it has to be seen as a matter or parameter of advancement in Krishna consciousness, these 9 anubhavas. And as we practice, take guidance on these 9 principles mentioned, we will see that we will slowly become more and more pure. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Is there any question? Okay. Yes.
Nowadays, if you are putting tilak or wearing dhoti, kurta, or chanting Hare Krishna, or taking initiation, that is not sufficient for purifying our mind or tongue. Then we are also practicing reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad spiritual books. Then, if that is not sufficient for this, then what is the way to purify our mind and how to get this habit stress?
Yeah, very good. So these external things that we are taking up in Krishna consciousness is to support our internal growth, and the internal growth happens through chanting of Hare Krishna, reading of Bhagavad Gita, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? But that internal growth will happen only when we do it in a particular way. And that's why we need to learn the methodologies of how to do it. And why the Krishna consciousness, what are my anchors, as I said, right? These are not externals. The process which you mentioned, putting tilak, and wearing dhoti kurta, chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Srimad Bhagavatam is not external. What is the problem is our anchor is still on. You remember the story which I was telling? The boatman was rowing. So similarly, we are also chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, 16 round overs, and everything we are doing. But our anchor is still on. You are understanding? What is the problem? Then it becomes external. Why it becomes external? Because progress is not happening.
How we know that our anchor is still not removed?
Eka Krishna Nama Hoye Sarva Papa Kshaye. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, only one holy name of Krishna can deliver us immediately to spiritual world. You are in material world? Yes. So that means you have still not chanted that Eka Krishna Nam. Can you imagine? Eka Krishna Nam Hoy Sarva Papa Kshay. Immediately. We don't have to chant 16 rounds. Only one. Recently one WhatsApp came. One Srila Prabhupada disciple was asking Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, how long it will take for us to become purified? How many years, how many months? And Srila Prabhupada cut him off and said, 1 minute. 1 minute. You will become Krishna conscious. That's what. So Srila Prabhupada is repeating as it is. Our acharyas. Eka Krishna Nama Hoy Sarva Papa Kshay. Only one holy name is sufficient to take us back to God. We are waiting for that one holy name. And the very fact that we are still here, the very fact that we are not giving up our attachments to family, friends, relatives, and all our attachments, whatever we have, we all know. We have not even started chanting Hare Krishna. Because Namabhas, the reflection of Suddhanam, Haridas Thakur says in Nama Chintamani, Harinam Chintamani, the reflection of Suddhanam, not even Suddhanam, the reflection of chanting when in the Namabhas stage itself, we get rid of all attachment. All these 9 Anubhavas, whatever, it happens only in the Namabhas stage only. We get liberated. And the very fact that we are not liberated, we are not even chanting in Namabhas. We are mostly chanting in Namaparad. And more we chant in Aparad Nam, Aparat Yukta Nam, more the anchor is on only. You may do whatever you want to do. You may tell whatever you want to tell. I will go back to Godhead. My Guru will take me back to Godhead. I have put tilak. Whatever you want to do, you do na. You will stay here only. Because you are chanting Namaparad. Because Eka Suddha Nama Sarva Papaksham. One Suddha Nama is sufficient to completely deliver you back to Godhead. So that's the proof. Okay. You want some more proofs? Our heart is our proof. Let's be honest. Our heart is our proof. I was reading the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. There is a verse about the gopis. You can refer to this verse. Then you will understand what it means, how much advanced I am. Yadohane bahanane matano palepa prinkhe khanar bharudita kshanmarjanado gayanti chainyamanurakta dhiyo shrukantyo dhanya brajastriya uru kramachittayanaha. Refer this verse, you will understand what is the how I can judge my advancement and what is external and what is internal. So this verse says that the gopis, ya dohanene, they are doing milking the cows. Bahanane, mathane, mathana, they are doing manthan of the curd. Upalepa, they are rubbing their babies' bodies with wonderful malam or tail. They are massaging, right? And they are marjanam, they are doing the homes, marjanam of the homes. They are doing so many other things. Gayanti chainyam anurakta dhiyoshru kanthyo. But all throughout the activities, they are constantly anurakta kantha, with lot of attachment. Their throat, their voice is getting choked up. While doing all these activities, they are chanting the holy names of the Lord. Govinda, Damodara, Madhaveti. Dhanya brajastriya uru kramachittayanaha. Brajastriya uru kramachittayanaha. Their chitta has become a carrier, yana. Yan janta biman, yan, vehicle. Their chitta has become a vehicle for Krishna. They are always carrying Krishna within their life. So that's the proof. Bhagavatam, if you read Bhagavatam seriously, we will understand which stage we are in. There is no doubt that we are externally practicing. And because it's not about whether we are doing job. Gopis were grihasthas. So it's not about grihastha, it's not about brahmachari, it's not about where we are staying, whether we are staying in a flat or under a tree. The gopis were staying in homes, right? Some of the gopis were having opulent homes. It's not that their homes were like just under trees. Having opulent homes. But dhanya brajastriya uru kramachittayanaha. This is the proof. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, next question. Yes, Sweta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. I have a study-related question. That is, of your Kalaktam only I remember. Rest Anubhav I don't even know, Prabhu.
No problem. We will let you know when the time comes. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes, Madhur Kohli Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandrat Pranam. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, my question is, Bhakti is definitely much higher level than surrender, or Krishna has asked us to in Bhagavad Gita. So can we say this 9 anubhav is that a difference between Bhakti and surrender? I mean, is that understanding right, Prabhuji?
The surrender as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, please read the purport to the verse in Bhagavad Gita. You will understand, you'll get the answer to your question. The meaning of surrender is Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Varjanam, the 6 symptoms of surrender as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So, Bhakti is all about surrender. Bhakti is all about Saranagati. These 9 symptoms that we spoke about is the external characteristics that will manifest when we surrender, so that we can understand how much we have surrendered. So Bhakti is all about surrender. It's not that Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is telling Bhagavatam also, it's about surrender. The difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam explains how to surrender. Bhagavad Gita says surrender. Bhagavad Gita says Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Bhagavatam says how Prahlad Maharaj even rejected his own father, so much of opulent kingdom, just to surrender to Krishna. So there is no difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and Bhakti is about surrender. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kari. Maybe in the next class we will sing this song in our singing time. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kari Swaparshada Swiyadhama Saha Avatari. Atyanta Durlabha Prema Karivare Dan Sikhaye Saranagati Bhakateira Pran. The Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended from spiritual world to give Krishna Prem, love for Krishna. And how he is giving Krishna Prem? Through Saranagati, by training his devotees by the principle of Saranagati. So Bhakti is Saranagati. But how much Saranagati we have got? To understand it, that these 9 anubhavas will help us to understand how much we have really surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna. Is this clear? Does it make sense? Okay. Yes, Mona Lisa Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, what I have understood is ultimately everything comes to how much quality chanting we are doing. That's everything.
One loud Haribol, one loud Haribol for the enlightenment. I think that is the essence of the message. Eka Krishna Naam Hoy Sarva Paap Krishna. One holy name, Suddha Naam. Yes.
Prabhuji, the struggle is there. I know very well कि मुझे बस भगवान पे ये करना है, कंसंट्रेट करना है. उनके नाम जो है आप ये दिए थे ना कि हरे कृष्ण लिखा होगा सामने. So you read it, then the mind doesn't get the scope to run away somewhere else. Mind also has to be engaged, otherwise it becomes mechanical, finishing the rounds only. So even if I struggle so much, I really pray my mind doesn't go anywhere else. Sometimes I am able to do for few rounds maybe, and sometimes I miserably fail and then I apologize to Krishna. I do not know when that day will come when one full round my mind will be only focused on that. So
don't worry about the one full round. Don't worry about we are going wrong because we are worrying about the full round. You worry about one mantra because only one mantra can deliver you. Because you are thinking the round will deliver me, 16 rounds will deliver me. Just worry about one mantra. Don't worry about so many mantras. Chant the mantra. Live in present. Presently, that mantra which you are going to chant the mantra nicely. Whatever mantras you have not chanted past, forget it. Whatever mantras you will chant in future, forget about it. Just chant the mantra on the present bead, whatever you are going to chant, nicely. Understanding that this mantra will deliver me. Okay?
Slowly that quality has to be improved, na? Like one bit needs to be added.
More and more we chant with experienced devotees who are chanting, and more we take exact practical guidance how to chant, and we will improve our chanting. So one is called definitely principle oriented answer, and another is practical life oriented answer. We need to prepare ourselves for chanting. We need to sit in a proper place. We need to keep ourselves aloof from all the distractions. So there is a preparation. So definitely there is a generic way to answer this question, but then there are also specific ways, because everyone is a different personality. For everyone, different type of thoughts come during chanting. It's not that for everyone same type of thought comes during chanting. So, and every different thought, whatever comes, has to be dealt in a particular way. If the thoughts are more like what I will cook, what I will this and that, this is a different solution. If the thoughts are more of how I can enjoy, what some people told me, why the person told me, so then it's a different. And don't think that people don't tell me anything. Like yesterday, some one person told me whatever in the WhatsApp, this is. So more and more we think. So if we are thinking about someone insulted us, so it's a different altogether we need to work upon. If we are thinking too much about the plans, we need to work in a different way. How our mind is working based on that, there are different solutions. It's not a generic, okay, theek, in one way. So what are our, what the mind is telling. That's why in spiritual life, after certain years, the whole game of spiritual life is your mind. That's it. Your mind is your game. How you train your mind. That's why Raghunath Das Goswami has written a book called Manaha Siksha. Right? So your mind is your game. How you deal with your mind. And how you sincerely follow the spiritual master's instructions, very sincerely, very strictly. Reveal your inner struggles of mind, inner desires of your mind to the spiritual master. Take specific guidance from the spiritual master. It will help you advance. Okay? But in a generic level, yes, we have to bring back the mind to, but on a specific level, yes, different things may have different solutions. Someone's mind may be very much stooped into wealth, accumulation of wealth, properties. Someone may be, different people have different anarthas that overpower them. So how I can say on a very generic level, but we need to work, we need to understand. Is this clear?
Yes.
What was clear?
I
I want to know what was clear.
Yeah, that mind जो इधर उधर चला जाता है, so we need to work on कहाँ चला जाता है, where is it going. So that solution has to be given accordingly. So अभी कहाँ mind चला जाता है, on that I need a one-to-one guidance from you.
No problem. कहाँ mind जाता है, where all. So our deepest, I'm telling you, recently I think I wrote a quote on that. Our deepest attachment is proven at the time of chanting. While time of chanting, what all thoughts come proves our deepest attachment. You can understand our attachments, you can understand our aversions through chanting. Okay? You can write a book on your mind. Raghunath Das Goswami has said that everyone should become a preacher by preaching to one's own mind. We all want to become preacher. We all want to become guru. We all want to teach to others, give suggestions. Start with your mind. Manaha Siksha. Preach to your mind. Oh my mind, e mana durmati samsara bhitare padiya achinu ami. You nonsense mind. Please hear. So we must preach to our mind regularly, every day, every moment. Okay? And amazingly, your mind cannot leave the class, cannot keep the video off in the class, because it is your mind. So your mind, your disciple. All the best. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sam Narayan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was asking, we discussed about the internal and external changes. So, I think one of the words that we have in some scripture that whoever dies wearing kanti and applying pillar, so Vishnu Dudas are coming to get the person. So, how can we relate this verse and this information with what you said?
Yeah, very good. So in many places that it is said that the Vishnu Dutas will come if we wear kanti. No, that is not the right thing. The right thing is that the scripture says that Yamadutas will not come if we are wearing a kanti. Right? But if we are very, very sinful and you are wearing kanti, just that Yamadutas will not come. At the right moment, the doctor will remove the kanti and take you to ICU, and the Yamadutas will see you there. And I have seen this in many cases where people were forced to remove their kanti by the doctor and taken to the ventilator, and then they have died. I have seen people living Puri Dham and going to other places and dying there because they are not qualified to die in Jagannath Puri. I'm born in Puri. I know the stories of Puri. Don't think you are the controller. There is much beyond bigger software working to control you. You cannot cheat. You cannot cheat. You may wear kanti. At the right moment, the kanti will be removed. The instrument will be sent by the material energy to remove the kanti and take you to wherever your destination is. Okay? All the best. And I have personally saw in many cases, in many of my uncles, many of the life of my relatives, I saw they were born in Puri, raised in Puri, lived in Puri, could not leave their body in Puri. And the material energy never gets a good hospital in Puri. They have to go to Bhubaneswar. They have to go to other places. They have to go to Cuttack. अभी तक पुरी में hospital अच्छा नहीं बन पाया because if a good hospital is there in Puri, then unqualified people will start leaving their body in Puri. They leave Puri. You cannot cheat the scriptures. Better mend ourselves. There are much more powerful personalities who are beyond us, who will make such, which I have personally seen. So many case studies I can say, but they are quite personal, so it's not good to tell in the because recorded and live stream. But so many. Please put faith on my words. It's not so easy. You may put kanti mala, But when the right time comes, it will get removed. Okay? Hare Krishna.
So probably when Yamaduta will not come, so who comes?
When the Yamadutas don't come, then the material energy takes the living entity and puts it in the womb of a particular mother, right? So it's not that Yamadutas have to every time come. Yamadutas come for sinful living entities, and 99% Yamadutas are coming in Kali Yuga. 99% Yamadutas are only coming. They're over busy. They do less work in the first 3 yugas, and they do overtime in Kali Yuga. That's how their job schedules are. Okay, like they have A, B, C, D slot, right? A is Satyuga, slot is very light. B is Treta Yuga, slot is little, and D slot very hectic. So in Kali Yuga they do a lot of. Don't think I'm just telling like that for fun. It is actually like that. So they have to do a lot of, because Kali Yuga, a lot of people go to Yamaloka. They're right now doing overtime. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Ajay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, in Gita that says that Antakale to Mamiva Saranutta Kalevaram means on the eve of death, if we can remember God, then we can go to God above. And in during the entire life, if I do chanting, if I wearing consumer everything, but how can I remember God during the day? What is the way to go to Godhead just on the eve of death?
Yeah, so we can understand this, that forget about death. At this point of time, any crisis comes in our life, whether we are able to understand Krishna, remember Krishna. Imagine at this point of time, we got a serious financial loss. Are we able to remember Krishna? At this point of time, we got a very serious health crisis. Are we able to remember Krishna? So all the crises combined together, multiplied millions of times, is death. So in a small crisis in our life, if we are able to remember Krishna, so slowly build it up. And if you have remembered Krishna and be grateful in small crises in your life, you can be rest assured at the time of the final crisis also, you will be able to remember Krishna. That's the proof. But if you are getting bewildered in small crisis, small financial crisis, marks अच्छा नहीं आया, financial थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया, body में कुछ आ गया, प्रभु जी हो गया, and immediately we get disturbed, we get bewildered, what will happen now? That means we are not prepared for death. We are not prepared for death. So, and these crises are coming, we should thank Krishna. Krishna sent some small crisis so that I know where I am standing. So sometimes Krishna may send small struggles in our life, financial crisis, health crisis, mental crisis, relationship crisis. These are good. These are helping us to understand where I am standing in my Krishna consciousness. And in those crises, if we are able to take shelter of Krishna, remember Krishna, being grateful to Krishna, and then at the time of crisis also we'll be able to, ultimate crisis, we'll be able to remember Krishna. Okay, so how to understand, how will I remember, not remember? Currently, whenever you are facing some crisis, whether you are able to remember, forget about crisis. In celebration only, we are not able to remember Krishna. In when everything is all peaceful, sitting in an AC room, we are not able to chant Hare Krishna. What to speak of in crisis? So that means, we are too far. Okay, Hare Krishna. Death is crisis, ultimate crisis. How will I remember Krishna at the time of death? Yes. Are you remembering Krishna in the small crisis of your life? Yes, I am trying. Then definitely at the ultimate crisis, we'll be remembering Krishna. Yes, good question.
One more point. Say if we do the entire life chanting everything, but during the day something written in the Bhagavad Gita that during that if you remember, say like animal or deer, they will take the bath of a deer. Is this right? because I have done chanting everything in their entire life, but somehow at the last moment during the death, I just remember someone else. Say I remember one deer or something. So I'll take the part of the deer, body of the deer.
Somehow it will not happen. It doesn't happen like that. Whole life you have chanted Hare Krishna, you will remember a deer at the time of death. This is a very improbable, its probability is almost zero. This doesn't happen. So mostly it will not happen if you have chanted Hare Krishna. And if at all it happens, Krishna says, I'll help. But it will not happen. Because mind is basically like a software only. You feed the software with all nice data. At the end, how the garbage data will come? It's very improbable. The question is quite improbable.
Now you were chanting, but you were not chanting Suddha Namma, so that may be a problem.
Then you don't say that you chanted throughout the life. You tell that I didn't chant it throughout my life. I remember the deer. Then the question you reframe. Then it is the right question. But you don't tell I chanted Hare Krishna, throughout my life, and I remembered deer. No, you didn't chant it throughout your life. You showed others that you chanted throughout your life. Right? You showed others. आपने दिखाया लोगों को कि मैं भी भक्त हूँ, मैं चैंटिंग किया, मैं भी दीक्षा लिया, मैं इस्कॉन में इतना पोस्ट पोजीशन मेरे को मिला, इतने लोगों को भक्ति में लेके आया. आपने दिखाया लोगों को, चैंटिंग नहीं किया. ओके, चैंटिंग अगर किया है तो कभी आप डियर के बारे में सोच ही नहीं सकते हैं. आपका डियर कृष्ण बन जाएंगे, आपके डियर, एंड वही डियर को पकड़ेंगे. इस छोटा डियर को नहीं पकड़ेंगे, इस दुनिया के डियर को. ओके, बिकॉज बिफोर द टाइम ऑफ डेथ, if you are supposed to remember Krishna, your spiritual body awakens before death only, as it is mentioned here. Read here. So this Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that both Draupadi and Subhadra, although her name is not mentioned herein, got the same result. None of them had to quit the body. Meaning what? This means that we already get a spiritual body before death only. Before death only we get a spiritual body. And Krishna knows at the time of when you are going to die. Okay, you don't have to find out your kundli, and when Krishna knows, Krishna will take care. Before death, Krishna will award you the spiritual body. Death for a devotee is not like death for materialist. For one who has chanted Hare Krishna, you will die. Before death, you will get spiritual body. And spiritual body, spontaneous remembrance of Krishna. Material body, spontaneous, forgetful of Krishna. Spiritual body, spontaneous remembrance of Krishna. So you don't worry. Krishna knows that your time of death, Krishna will give you the right spiritual body. Before death only, you remember Krishna, you will go back to God. Provided you have chanted. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yes. Rajesh Prabhu, then Ankit Prabhu. Speak, say it. Your voice is not audible. Though you are unmute, but I think there is some issue with the microphone. Remove the microphone. Yes, now it is audible. Yes. No. Very faint. You type the question. You type the question. That's better. You type the question. I'll take the next question. Ankit Prabhu's question. You type the question. Yes.
Hare Krishna, brother.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class. After listening to the class, I had so much sincere urge to glorify you, and I want to express my gratitude towards their lordships and Guru Parampara that we have got a sincere teacher who is guiding us and taking the gems out of these gifts which Srila Prabhupada has given us. Srila Prabhupada has written these purports and Srimad Bhagavatam and books with so much sincerity, and his writing which Acharyas, which he has concise which all the acharyas has given and given in these books. I'm so grateful for it and for everything. And also I'm grateful for my experience in Krishna consciousness in ISKCON, because of my past experience. Now I'm able to more sincerely value the association of teachers like you. And Prabhu, this class today you gave very nice. So in materialistic people also, they hear these motivational classes to get boosted up in their material life. But what happens with those classes is that they hear motivation, and the motivation is there, but it doesn't result into practical implementation. That inspiration is there, but it doesn't result into that. So I don't want this class to be like that. That, oh, it has inspired me very much. That now I should always sincerely introspect, and I should always take guidance, and I should always work upon, how can I improve my Krishna consciousness? But I don't want it to be a short-term thing. I want it to be permanent till death, every time. I should only think about how can I improve my Krishna consciousness. It should be that I should not be overwhelmed by situations in my life, whatever happens in my material life or personal life. But I only want to focus on this thing, that I want to improve my Krishna consciousness. So how I can, not make this class like any other YouTube podcast which we hear, any other things which we hear, and have this permanently engraved, that, oh, every month if I have not taken, I have not reported to my authority, then I'm oh, I have not done this, it should become that vital to me. How can I, practically ensure that?
Okay, very nice question. So we need to understand that if we are able to permanently do and follow the today's class, that means we have already become a pure devotee and we don't require today's class. The very fact that we require today's class is that it is understood that we will again and again require this class. In the 5th canto, if you read, Rishabdev is speaking to his sons, and Rishabdev is speaking that the spiritual master should never get tired in giving right instructions to the disciple, even if the disciples or the sons, they don't follow them or they fail repeatedly in following the instructions. So the very fact that we are materially motivated and we have got this material body, that will definitely lead us to inertia. And that's how it is important that we prioritize taking association of the spiritual master, taking association of the Vani of the spiritual master on a very, very regular basis. Like in my life, all the enthusiasm that I have is all because of regularly hearing my spiritual master. I have seen the Vani of my spiritual master has helped me a lot. Now the difference between the material motivation speech and the spiritual sound vibration coming from the mouth of the spiritual master is that the spiritual sound vibration is Chit Vastu. It is living. The words of the spiritual master are living. The words of a motivational speaker or the materialistic words or materialistic inspiration, they're dead words. So because they're living words, they have a lot of power. And just by hearing the spiritual master on a regular basis and noting down what did I learn and how I can apply, and sometimes we hear the spiritual master like a pravachan. But you need to understand, you can only control your mind through your intelligence. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. So how we can activate our intelligence when we hear the spiritual master is after hearing or during hearing or after hearing anything, whatever suits us, is that we sit down and write down whatever I heard. Can I write down and remember what I heard, and how can I follow? How I can apply this in my life? So if you do this introspection after hearing, so first thing I am saying is that regularly hear. That is the first thing, because the words of the spiritual master are living personalities, because he is speaking the absolute truth. Sa uttama sloka mahan mukhachyuta. That is a verse in the 4th canto. Second thing I am telling is that activate your intelligence while hearing the spiritual master. And how to activate the intelligence? Make notes, write down what. So that's what recently I was talking with Bihari Govind Prabhu, that we have written a lot of books, but right now what I am doing is that with every chapter of the book, I am making questions that will help the person activate the intelligence, because nowadays people just read it and they forget it. But when there are some questions, you have to solve it, then immediately your intelligence is activated. So similarly, we hear the class, but we are given assignments and we have a book reading session. Why that is there? To help us activate our intelligence. So for any class we hear from the spiritual master, we have to do it ourselves to activate our intelligence. What did I hear? How can I apply? And what are my struggles to apply them? 2-3 questions we should ask. And if we are having some struggles in application, we should refer back to the spiritual master for it. So what I feel is that the Bani of the spiritual master is very powerful, very powerful. And that's because Krishna actually blesses the spiritual master, empowers the spiritual master to take care of his disciples. There is a verse in Uddhav section. All of you can open that, or maybe Kushal Bihari Prabhu, if he's there, can find it out. Naibo payantya pachitim. I am remembering a lot of verses. This is a very powerful way to become Krishna conscious. Naibo payanti pachitim kavayo tavesha brahma yushapi krita vruddha muda smarantaha antarvahir tanubhritan asubhan vidhunvan acharya chaitya bapusa swagatim vyanakti. Uddhava is glorifying Krishna. And how is glorifying Krishna? He is telling, oh Krishna, it is very difficult to be grateful to you. Like in the beginning of your question, you were telling, I am so grateful, I am so grateful. Oh Krishna, even if whole lifetime of a Brahma, one is grateful, still one will not be able to really be grateful to you. Brahma yushapi kritam ruddha muda smarantaha. Even if one remembers the good deeds that you did for us, whole life of Brahma, it will not be enough. Right? Why? Acharya chaitya bapusa swagatim vyanakti. You come in the form of Acharya in the life of a person, chaitya bapusa. So Acharya, the Guru, is chaitya bapusa. Uddhava is telling. Chaitya is Chita. Chitta. In our heart, Krishna is there as Paramatma. And that chaitya bapusa, bapusa matlab body. So Krishna takes the body of spiritual master. So Krishna speaks to us through the mouth of the spiritual master. Acharya chaitya bapusa swagatim. Uddhava is telling, you direct the living entity by coming in the body of Acharya, the spiritual master. Right? Acharya chaitya bapusa. And asubham vidhunman. So once you read this verse, you can read this verse and understand that don't think that what my spiritual master is telling me is actually Krishna's speaking to me. More and more we have this faith that it is Krishna speaking to me. I have so much of faith on this that I have opened a class, any random class of my spiritual master, and heard it. And interestingly, my spiritual master has spoken what exactly I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear, okay, I was thinking about this, and then my spiritual master speaks. And the title would be something else. I have so much of faith on this. So more and more, yatha deve tatha guru. How much you have faith on the words of the spiritual master, that much advancement you will make. Right? So personally, I saw in my life, my advancement greatly dependent on my sincere hearing of the spiritual master's words. And they are not ordinary. The words of spiritual master are energy of Balaram, energy of Balaram. More and more we take it to our heart and really regularly hear it. Regularly hear it. There is no, we should understand, no one can stop us taking us back to Godhead. The problem is we don't regularly hear our spiritual master. Right? Whether Siksha Guru, Diksha Gurus, we don't regularly hear. So don't hear, then you will become very dhila dhala. Right? Anabriti Sabdat. There is another Vedanta Sutra. Like we have Vedanta Sutra, there are different sutras. There is this sutra called Anabriti Sabdat. So Sabda, Anabriti, it creates Anaabriti. It reveals to us. Right? Anabriti Sabdat. Sastra Yonitvat. So Vedanta Sutra says, Anabriti Sabdat, it opens up Sastra Yonitva. The Sastra is the Yoni. From the Yoni, a person is born. So Sastra is Yoni, where our Krishna consciousness is born. As soon as we read scriptures, read Bhagavad Gita, our Krishna consciousness is born. But Anabriti, revelation happens through Sabda. The sound vibration. Vedanta Sutra is, one time I think I should take a class on Vedanta Sutra. Amazing book. Very nice book. One sutra, one can give classes for one year only. Such powerful one sutra. Sastra Yonitvat Anabriti Sabdat. I don't know how many of you have heard this two sutras? Oh, none of you, huh? Okay, I think Sveta Mataji. Sastra Yonitva. So Yoni. Yoni is the place from where we are born. So Sastra is the way we get birth in Krishna consciousness. Sastra पढ़ के, Bhagavad Gita पढ़ के, हमारे birth होता है. But that revelation, how to apply Sastras, because Sastras are very generic. Sastras don't tell how Mona Lisa will start chanting Hare Krishna nicely. They don't say. So Sastra is very generic. But birth of Mona Lisa's Krishna consciousness happens through Bhagavad Gita. Sastra. Sastra Yonitva. I hope you understand Yoni. Yoni is genital, from where the man is born, a person is born. But Anabriti, that revelation. Abriti, Anabriti. Abriti is covering, Anabriti is revelation. Revelation of the scriptures will come Sabdat, through the words of the spiritual master, through the chanting of Hare Krishna, sincere chanting of Hare Krishna. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yes. Just spoke that single Harinam is sufficient to go back, but without complete eradication, that's not possible. But sometimes, to be external, we get attached to too many things. As attachment is byproduct of ego. Then how to deal with this loop? Yeah. So ego is the end top layer of our subtle software. Mind, intelligence, ego. Ego is the topmost layer. Mind can be controlled by intelligence. Ego controls the intelligence. Intelligence controls the mind. But ego, no one can control because it's the top layer. Right? So how to control the ego is by another living entity. So another living entity can control, because soul is above the ego. But you as a soul, because it is your ego, you cannot control your ego. So you need help of another soul. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj always speaks this point, that devotees will help you control your ego. purify your ego and uplift your ego, right? So because they are soul and ego is below soul. So there is soul, Atma, Ahankar, Buddhi, Man. Krishna says, Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya param manah. You should refer to this verse from Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani paranyahur. Indriya se upar mana hai. Indriyebhya param manah. Right? So manah is higher than the Indriyas. And mana param, buddhi is param to India. The intelligence is higher than in the mind, and highest is the soul, the ahankar, and beyond ahankar is the soul. Soul controls the ahankar, but because it is your ahankar, you cannot control it. You need another soul who will intervene in your life and who can purify your ahankar. And that devotee is generally the spiritual master or other devotees. You know, devotees are very merciful. They purify your ahankar like anything, provided we take guidance and we ask. Okay? In this way, soul, ego is controlled by the soul, another soul. Is it clear? We'll end here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.